Fable Legends starts introducing its playable heroes, Blade and Soul discusses how open-world PvP works in the Western version, Wildstar fires up its free-to-play closed beta, and Gaijin Entertainment finally delivers some detailed gameplay footage of their new game Crossout. What's going on, guys? James Blonde here with MMOHuts.com with a quick weekly recap for MMO news and announcements for the week ending August 17th, 2015. We've got a fairly quiet news week, seeing that PAX Prime is just around the corner. All of the publishers are kind of holding back announcements for the show, but regardless, like I mentioned last week, DFO is continuing their Fantastic Four rollout. This week we see the second awakening for the female Mage. And with this transition, we get introduced to the Genie Wiz, who summons minions to help with witchcraft, the Astarte, who uses her second awakening skill to transform into a form of apostle, the Eclipse actually summons the Dark War Maiden Larnos of the Moon to fight by her side, and finally we have the Overmind, who can absorb all of the elements and light from the surrounding area and combine them into a new element that causes a powerful super gamma ray burst style explosion. It's definitely the path I would take, based on that reason alone. But then again, they all look awesome, of course, and now that Neopol has taken DFO completely, we can clearly see that new content comes in at a much faster rate. On a similar note, Elsword released the second job class for Luciel this past week as the Noblesse and Dreadlord. With this, Lu finally gets back her authority in the demon realm. Thank goodness. She is now able to control evil spirits with the astonishing power of her lineage, so besides that, as the Noblesse, Lu acquires the ability to freely expand her claws for some intense damage as she ventures into the domain of close-quarter combat. And on the other side of things, as the Dreadlord, Seal acquires various abilities fueled by creeping terror and is a lot more flexible when it comes to switching between attack styles. Bit by bit, little by little, like his master, Seal himself has become a Lord of Terror, and with this new transformation, I'd say it shows. Next up, if you happen to like fighting and brawler games, and perhaps you're a fan of Street Fighter, a newly announced game called Rising Thunder is now available for anyone to play and test. The game is in an alpha state, but it's being developed by Radiant Entertainment, which consists of a group of developers who have actually worked on the Street Fighter series pretty prominently. This fighting game is all about agility and decisions, blocking, jumping, timing, and all the mind games of high-level play, except without having to learn the complex combos and inputs, which is something that usually turns people off towards fighting games. Even in its alpha state, the game actually feels really nice. Check out our latest first look if you haven't already to get a feel for what's in store, or head over to risingthunder.com to download and try the game out yourself. Next up, getting closer to beta time, Fable Legends started a new hero reveal video series introducing the various playable heroes and their story. The first one we see is Verse, a bard-like hero whose primary purpose is to slow down the battlefield, literally. She uses her instrument as an instrument of destruction by bashing her enemy's face in with it, but she's also able to manipulate time to slow down enemies' attacks inside a time bubble that looks freaking awesome. And as you can tell, she's really quick on her feet with a variety of spin attacks, but it also goes to show how dynamic the combat is in this game, which is something I didn't realize. So needless to say, this video definitely made me more excited to check it out. It's starting to look pretty good. Just after Gamescom last week, Gaijin Entertainment finally released a gameplay trailer for the newly announced title Crossout. This is a post-apocalyptic themed destruction derby style action game where you can literally craft all kinds of battle machines and then ride them directly into combat and take on other equally crazy looking vehicles. You gotta think Robocraft and Mad Max. That's pretty close. The coolest part, in my opinion, and the trailer does a really good job showing this, is the damage model and how you can destroy a particular part of a vehicle and it affects the machine's performance immediately. So you can potentially go from being a huge driving fortress with a lot of guns to a sitting fortress with a lot of guns. The crafting aspect in the game is definitely going to be awesome. I got to see a lot of that during E3. Didn't get to tell you guys, but it is pretty intense. Also this past week, Neverwinter launched its Stronghold expansion module, which is designed to build upon existing guild content with the ability to customize an in-game stronghold based on the guild's needs and playstyle, and then put it in the middle of the most challenging guild-based battles called Greed of the Dragonflight. In this, the guild as a group must defend their lands from 4 dragons in order to gain access to some of Neverwinter's most powerful gear. An additional update is scheduled to launch on September 15th that will introduce a new 20 vs 20 PvP mode that has groups of players siege another guild's stronghold. For now, check out the site posted at MMOHuts.com for all the details. On a similar note, Skyforge launched the Crucible of the Gods update this past week, and as the first major update for the game, players will gain access to the Divine Form for the first time since beta testing, face new invading forces and large-scale events that end up affecting all players, and once in God form, embark on 2 unique adventures designed to test you against the strongest creatures in Aeolion, the Mechanoid Ship and Operation Isabella, which are the high-end PvE raids in the game. And that's just to name a few. This update is massive. This past week, the Otherland team released a new trailer you see playing here, delivering insight on what's going on story-wise with this update, and also what sort of adventures and content you can expect. Alongside all of the significant content add-ons, they're also introducing a gigantic list of updates, additions, and general fixes. Next up, Gaijin Entertainment announced last week that Otherland will be available on Steam Early Access on August 26th. After more than 6 years of development, the new developer is bringing players a completely revamped, visually stunning MMO where they can explore the multiverse of virtual worlds based on the popular Tad Williams novels. As it stands, the game is almost feature and content complete. The final step is getting more players testing it and polishing it up before its official release in early 2016. The early access is set up with a buy-in style method of access, but the revenues derived from early access will flow right back into the game's development, which will include further content updates such as new worlds filled with quests, additional battlegrounds, and mini-games. Follow the game on Steam right now, or head over to the game profile at MMOHuts.com for more details. Last week, ArenaNet announced the Herald as the elite specialization for the Revenant's profession in Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns. The Revenant's elite specialization fittingly taps into the powers of Tyria's legendary dragon Glint. In the original Guild Wars campaign where players met Glint, they had to fight the 6 facets of dragons before reaching her. The Herald adds skills to the Revenant that represent all 6 of these facets. It also gives the Revenant a shield with skills that provide healing and boons, along with a new legendary dragon stance. Summed up, the Herald is a support build which utilizes boons, utility, and defense skills to protect allies and dominate enemies. One of the most exciting features in the new expansion is the new Revenant profession itself, and having an elite specialization like that will definitely make it much more exciting for players to work towards. Beyond that, there are a couple more announcements about Guild Wars 2 linked in the description below. Check it out. Earlier last week, NCSoft and Carbine Studios announced that the closed beta for the newly free-to-play transition of Wildstar is now live. Players granted access to the closed beta will be able to experience all of the new and improved features made available in the transition. Some of the new content and features coming in the transition include a revamped arc ship and arrival sequence that welcomes newcomers to Wildstar, giving them the option of choosing where they want to start their adventure based on their MMO experience level. The character creation has been overhauled, a multitude of quality of life improvements have been added in, and a new instance called the Alpha Sanctum was introduced to bring players into the game's storyline much earlier than ever before. The closed beta is available to all current subscribers, as well as non-subs who have received a closed beta key, of course. Plus, anyone can sign up for a key at the official website, and I have a feeling they're looking to get a lot of people in very quickly. And finally, for the last bit of news, the team on the Western version of Blade and Soul released rather specific details of how their prestige currency and flagging for PvP is intended to work in this new edition of the game. Those who have enjoyed the thrill of open-world battling in the past, whether factionless or under faction guidelines, has likely experienced the gambit of cheap tactics such as early logouts, turning off PvP flagging, channel dodging, or zone retreating. Blade and Soul tantalizes would-be combatants with a single-session reward currency called Prestige that can be earned for killing flagged rival faction members within a set level gap of yourself. This currency doesn't act like most MMORPG currency, as it must be turned into a faction NPC to reap the rewards of what you've collected. Now here's where it takes a turn. Should you do any of the above annoying PvP dodging acts, you will lose any prestige you have built up. Should you try to get away with a Windstride port, you will lose your prestige. Should you die in combat before turning your prestige in, you will also lose it all. This adds in an element of risk versus reward in deciding on if you should quit while you're ahead or fight one more battle to amplify your total turn-in rewards. It's definitely an interesting way of going about it. Read up on all of this and more at the site post linked in the description below, and look forward to more Blade and Soul news that you won't want to miss coming to MMOHuts early this week. Anyway guys, that's about it for all the major MMO news and announcements of this week. Like always, you can find more information about the topics featured in the recap from the links in the description below, or pick up plenty more news straight from MMOHuts.com. Feel free to discuss the news in the comments below, or head over to MMOHuts.com/forums. And until next time guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.